It's Richard and Rebecca's Roadside Ramblings.
Actually, someone should say that, but that's not the point. The point is...
happenings from roundabouts to mirrors. They've got the know-how.
Yes! It's absolute rubbish. Seriously. What's happened this week?
So, one of my students has managed to get hold of a driving test.
Yes.
Okay.
That's good. Shall I?
But it's on a Friday.
Ooh. Oh no, they're going to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah. What we're talking about? What are we talking about?
We are talking about debunking driving test
myths, and this is one area that freaking winds me up so bad. Let's start. What is not a myth? If you drive crap, you fail. If you drive well, you pass.
Yeah.
That is not a myth. That is the truth.
Right. So starting off with number one.
So with that in mind, let's see what this myth compares to the reality. If you drive well, you pass. If you don't drive well, you don't pass that day at that moment in time.
So
I'm shouting already, aren't I? Right, compose yourself, Rebecca.
Okay.
Right. So
have you got your pass bag? Have you got?
I know what you're going to say is they've only got. Don't take your test on a Friday because they're going to hand out so many passes per week. Now listen, they got these pads with hundreds of passes on them, and they take one off, write it off, and pass it on. Have you ever seen the pad run out? No, it's absolute rubbish. Seriously.
You wouldn't come to the end of a driving test and go, do you know what?
You've driven perfectly. You know.
So well. But you know what? You were just like 29 and a 30. So I'm sorry, I'm going to have to fail you because I've run out of passes.
Well, it's not. You know if you've passed. You know if you failed. You know if you've driven well because you've learnt to drive. You know what good is. So there you go. You've driven well. Friday afternoon, 2 o'clock. Definitely not the 2 o'clock one. You've driven really, really well, and there you are. Well done. You had a nice drive. I'm afraid you haven't passed. They have to give you an explanation why you haven't passed.
Yeah.
I'll go through the reasons. Because you pulled out in front of that tractor. No, I didn't. Oh yeah, you didn't do that tractor, did you? What did you do? You went speeding on the dual carriageway. No, I wasn't. I was at 60. You exit. It's nonsense, isn't it?
It is nonsense.
Why do people come? Where's this myth come from?
Because people can't accept that they failed.
Self-denial.
Yes.
Taking responsibility for your actions.
The examiner.
Everyone else's fault, apart from my own. You're in charge of, and cut to the chase. You're in charge of a ton of metal that can kill people. You weren't good enough for that 40 minutes. It's as simple as that. Doesn't mean you're a bad driver. It means that little snapshot in time, it wasn't good enough for you. So you've got to learn from it. If you're in denial, it's everybody else's fault apart from your own. How are you going to improve? I'll tell you where it's come from. I'll tell you the thing.
All I'm saying.
Don't. My mum says. Okay,
my nan's guinea pig said don't take it on a Friday.
My mum said don't take it on a Friday because mum passed on a third attempt. The first two on a Thursday and Friday. The first one's on a Monday, so they must have run out of passes.
Okay.
Nonsense. Myth busted. I'm going to put a stamp up on the screen that says busted. Right, there we go.
Right. Yeah, because I don't know about you, but I've had passes every single day of the week.
Yeah. Not Friday. Yes, they do every single day. Of course it is. And no matter what time of day it is.
Right, myth number 2. You automatically fail if you stall.
Is that a thing?
That is a thing.
Really?
Yeah. People think that if they stall, they're going to fail.
What's a definition of a serious or dangerous fault?
Serious fault is that you have affected another driver. You have affected another road user. Potentially.
Yeah, you've made them change speed or direction or hold them up because of your actions. You've become a hazard.
So that's the thing with stalling. Okay, you could, if you've stalled in a dangerous place.
There we go. She told me to move off on my driving test.
Oh.
Go on then. So drive when you're ready.
Drive when you're ready.
I stalled the car. No one around. No one. Nobody was. I forgot that I wasn't stuck down. Yeah. No one was around. Has anyone changed speed or direction because of I've literally gone 6 inches and stopped. Now, what if that's a busy junction? You come out or choose with wrong gear.
If you jump forward like onto a roundabout, or
so it all depends on the location, the situation.
It's very situation dependent.
It depends how it's
doesn't
developed.
Automatically fail you.
But you don't want to stall because every major fault starts off as a minor fault.
It won't give you confidence with it.
Driver error.
Driver error.
Yeah, there we go. So absolutely not. If you stall the car, most of the answers to this is it depends. On my driving test, the answer is always it depends.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
It's easier to pass your test at certain times of day. It's your favourite thing on live. I've got an 11:11 test. What do you think?
Is that a good time for a driving test? Well, it's a good time for a driving
test.
test. So that's what time it is. So you don't want to turn up at 12 when it's 11. So that's a really good.
Just you've got hold of a driving test.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it makes no difference, does it? I mean,
it's absolutely no difference.
I mean, if it's busy, you'll be going slower.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, why have you gone to test?
Yeah, if you can't drive at any time of the day, then you shouldn't.
I only like it when it's sunny, school holidays, and when it's between the rush hour and that rush for Tesco's at 1 o'clock. 11 o'clock's a great time.
No.
You're not passing a test. You're showing that you can drive a variety of different road types. If you pass your driving test, you're free to go on your own. If you can't drive everywhere, time or day, location, conditions,
you're not ready.
Why are you going to test?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you putting people at risk, yourself at risk, just for the sake of a couple of weeks extra? You're going to be driving for 50 years, 40 years. What's wrong with just delaying it a couple of weeks until you're ready to pass? So this doesn't even become a question.
Let's do number 4.
Getting angry.
You automatically fail if you cross your hands on the steering wheel.
No, you don't. Can you? My highway code's down there somewhere. Can you show me in the highway code? Can you show me somewhere in the highway code where it says you must drive at 10 to 2?
No.
No.
You wouldn't be able to.
What does the highway code tell us about control of the car?
You must maintain safe control of the car.
And it recommends that you should have two hands on the steering wheel.
That's it.
Are you in control of the car? Now, the reason we do talk about push-pull steering, crossing your hands, is the airbag is in here. And if that goes off, it goes off at 200 miles an hour. You really don't want that and you meeting that. So push-pull steering just basically means
that space is
this
free.
area is free for the bag to open
even like
and
when I'm
deploy
steering,
itself.
like at the top, I slightly cross over at the top sometimes.
Yeah, if you do slightly crossing over the top,
yeah.
it keeps you control of the car. What it doesn't want to do is unnecessarily doing this, because your hand does come off to change gear and use the handbrake and use the indicator.
Or
obviously.
like this. When
then you're no longer in control of the car.
No.
You've put yourself to a half Nelson, haven't you, really? Something like that. And the other thing as well, which is always 10 to 2 nonsense as well as misses, I'm varying my driving position.
Yeah.
If I'm going around lots of cars and meeting across, I'm holding the steering wheel up here, so it's more flexible. Down here, I'm holding it down at, so what's that called, 20 to 4 on the dual carriageway, like that, because that way it's nice and stable. I'm only going to be just steering the wheel that much to change lanes.
Yeah.
So why am I holding it up here, knackering my arms? Why don't I just hold it down here, where I've got better control? So again, it depends. Were you in control of the car?
Myth number 5. You need to exaggerate your head movement so that the examiner can see. So we're talking about going.
Oh, yeah, you're a driving examiner. Look at me.
The examiner will actually be laughing inside.
They will be absolutely just saying, what are you doing?
What on earth is this person doing?
You must remember to check. Why am I looking in the mirrors there? Because when I look in the mirror there, I can see what is down there. If I'm only glancing across, I'm not actually. You're gathering information. I'm slowing the car down. What is behind me? Is it safe to slow the car down? How much will I slow the car down to the junction? Yeah. Just sort of check. Why are you checking mirrors? To gather information. Buy into why you're doing it.
You don't need to be gawping in the direction with your
and actually, we did advanced driving. We don't even talk about mirrors. We talk about information gathering. When you're at a roundabout, and you're coming off, I might be looking over there. That's where I'd be looking into the junction.
Yeah.
Well, that's no good to me. Oh, look at you. So, you need to exaggerate.
A lot of people that do that as well aren't even looking in the mirror.
No.
They're just looking in.
They're looking but not seeing.
No,
It's that way around, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And it is as simple as that. I mean, if you ever met someone, they go, here we go, Richard. Have you seen any full licence holder drive like that? You're driving like in 30 minutes time, 40 minutes time, you are going to have a full licence. And the examiner's saying, show me how you do it without me helping. Pretend I'm not here, show me how you drive.
And they will look at you and go, I'm not sure about that.
Why are they doing this?
Why are they doing that?
It's going to really, and if anything, it's
it'll
going to
bug the
actually
life out of them.
absolutely bug the life out of you. Thinking, what is this muppet doing?
So no.
No.
And that's it.
That's the top 5.
That's the top 5.
There are many others. My biggest problem with the driving test, and I blame schools for this, and the system. Here we go. Okay. I spoke to a student literally yesterday about this, and it's a test. Now, they did geography last year, GCSE, they're now in year 12. And I said to them, if you sat your geography test today, what did you score? I wouldn't know anything, so I've forgotten it all, because I crammed it for a test. So you got a qualification that says, I know about geography, and yet you know nothing about geography. What does that bit of paper mean? Absolutely nothing. And the problem is, people come to tests like it's a test. What do you learn? You're learning a skill for life. All the test does is just the fact is, we've brought someone up to a good standard. I know they can drive. You know they can drive. They know they can drive. Parents know they can drive. And the only person that doesn't know this yet is Gary or whoever is the examiner or whoever is there. He's never met you before. Great. Your instructors brought you up to a certain standard, I hope. Just drive for 40 minutes. We'll go a variety of different road types. Just show me that you can drive unsupervised.
I also think it's taken an interest though, because I think the same with like the GCSEs or the exams and things. If I needed to pass something that I had no interest in, I would not remember a thing after it.
This is true.
But if I was genuinely interested in being a safe driver, I would retain the information.
You buy into the why.
Yeah.
Why am I looking in the mirror? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? Why am I not crossing my hands? Not because I've been told to.
Exactly. So that is trying to get that sort of attitude as well.
And this is the thing. Why do people fall into bad habits? Well, let me give you an analogy. Okay.
Cycle of no consequence, really.
Well, it's buying into the why. Now, Rebecca, you want to pass your driving test, do you?
I do.
Yeah, okay, right. Can you remember something for 40 minutes? Yeah? On your driving test, if you see a yellow car, wave your hand and say yellow car and nudge the examiner like that. Can you remember to do that for 38 minutes?
I'm sure
Yeah, of course you can. Here we go. You're driving your driving test. There we go. Yellow car. At the end of it, well done. You spotted all the yellow cars and you did what you're supposed to do when you see a yellow car. Now, if you got driving now, are you going to carry on going, yellow car, everyone? Actually, some of my students do that, but that's not the point. The point is...
Yeah, I was going to say, I probably would.
Yeah,
Yellow car.
But if it, would you do it? No.
No.
Why? Because you didn't buy into the relevance. It's in the relevance I was told to do something, not why I did something like that. So until you buy into a why, until it becomes an instinct that you want to know what's done. I'm about to bring the car that way, I want to know. Oh, I forgot to look in my mirror. What do you mean you forgot to look in your mirror? If you're forgetting to do something, you haven't learnt it properly until it becomes an instinct. That way, why? If it's becoming an instinct, you're doing everything correctly because the instructors taught you correctly, why would you fail a driving test?
Nerves.
That's a different topic. Maybe that's one for next week. How are you getting with this coffee?
I think that was good.
Right, so that's the end of our coffee. I'll be seeing you next week. Might be the odd live or something like that. Yeah. So that's the end of our. Yeah, that was fun, wasn't it?
That's good fun.
You get off. Did you vent your speed? Did you get all your problems off your chest? So yes, that's our roadside ramble for this week. I suppose we'll be back next week, won't we?
Yeah.
Who's buying the coffees next week? Who bought them this week?
You did. Congratulations.
You play rock, paper, scissors, didn't you?
Richard and Rebecca's roadside ramblings,
One, two, three.
chatting about their week and all the driving happenings from roundabouts to mirrors. They've got the know-how.
Coffee's on Rebecca. Have a great week.
Let's go right now. It's Richard and Rebecca's roadside.